HBUG.
The way I normally approach composing usually involves sitting down and listening to or watching the material 2 or 3 times while I'm sat at the keyboard, and then I'll just sit and improvise on a software instrument or synthesizer until I find a motif or chord progression that fits the material. Then it's just a case of building that up into a whole piece of music. When we approached this piece, as a group we decided that a traditional score was a little bit too much for the project and settled on a more ambient approach that would leave room for sound effects and the interviews themselves. We initially settled on using mainly swells and drones with a lot of reverb or delay. However, I found this was quite limiting, so what I ended up doing was going back to my usual approach and writing a short piece of music for each interview, anywhere from 20 seconds to a minute long, and then stretching that piece to the length of the interview. This meant I had a music track throughout each interview to work with, which then meant I could score additional music on top of that to highlight certain parts of the interviews, as well as having the option to add effects to the stretched track like distortion or a bit crusher, which can really bring out a lot of extra harmonics in the sound. This also meant that everything works together harmonically and doesn't leave too much dissonance or any other artifacts that would be unpleasant to the listener. So for this interview, I started off with this short 20-second piece of music. And then after I stretched it out, that turned into this. And then here it is with some additional piano scored over the top of it.
We wanted to create some sound effects similar to those in Forbidden Planet using similar techniques. The echo is created by monitoring both the record head and play head of a reel-to-reel at the same time. The length of the echo is determined by how long it takes the tape to get from one playhead to the other, and you could create longer echoes by running the tape around something else, possibly like a microphone stand, before it reached the second playhead. To hook this up, you come from the output of the reel-to-reel into a channel on the mixer, and you come out of an auxiliary on the mixer into the input of the reel-to-reel. The reel-to-reel is then put into record mode. The sound source, which for this example is another reel-to-reel, but it could be anything, goes into another channel on the mixer, and then you turn up the auxiliary and monitor both channels. An interesting effect is to pause the reel-to-reel, which has been used as a sound source, and then just play back little snippets into the echo. You can then use the EQs to help sculpt the sound.
HBUG.